What was the scariest place you have ever been to? Reconstructed subway which exploded years ago in Daegu, Korea. They memorialized the explosion on site, scorched walls, melted people's items, burnt phone booths and all, but the scariest was the scorched walls with writings and handprints of the people that was trapped during the explosion. This subway is one of the busiest stations even today due to being the city's downtown area. I went spelunking once, and while there was no drop like that, there was a long-ass horizontal stretch where you essentially had to crawl on your stomach like a worm because it wasn't even high enough to be on all fours. I'm not claustrophobic, but that felt pretty damn unsettling. I was also the only one without any kind of knee and elbow pads, so crawling on those rocks hurt like a bitch and I was covered in bruises the next day. All in all, I can see the appeal of spelunking. You enter a random hole in the ground and suddenly you're in what feels like a whole different world, but not sure I want to repeat that experience. It's not too far from where I used to live, so I decided to go there once. It's the most unassuming thing you can imagine, but knowing how dangerous it is just makes it seem ominous, especially when you consider how many people it may have killed and how few people ever wash up. I didn't go within 10 feet of the thing. For anyone who doesn't want to click the link, although it's Tom Scott, so you really should, the strid is what happens when a fast-flowing river basically turns on its side, putting a vast amount of water through a very slim, very deep, very dark groove in the ground. It looks calm on the surface, but if you fall in, you are royally fucked. There's a claim that it might be the most dangerous stretch of water in the world, and I can readily believe it. I had just crossed over the border into China from Kazakhstan. For some reason, my buddy and I made it a plan to hit as many haunted houses as we could. For whatever reason, there were plenty on our route from Moscow to Delhi. We found out about one in Urumkai and decided to go. As we went down these dank stairs into what seemed like once was part of an underground system, everything just felt wrong. The person there had us sit in these gross chairs in front of this odd raised platform. Out of nowhere, this girl, and I mean no more than 14, comes out in a skimpy leopard print outfit with a snake. We are getting PFO vibes but are the only ones there and the dudes running the place are right behind us. So, we proceed to watch this girl pop the snake's head into her mouth and swing it around like a helicopter. After the show, they tried to guide us to these rooms with the grossest mattresses on the planet on the ground. It was really sad, creepy, and disgusting. All we could do is shove some RMB in the guy's hand and run out. Last year, I lived in a suburb in Gifu Prefecture. Down the street was a broken down old house and my friend and I decided to do a photo shoot there one night, because an old broken Japanese house looked pretty cool. When I say broken down, I mean entire walls were missing and exposing the inside, floors were broken, and lots of old junk everywhere. Pipes and beams were exposed, and there were crates of old belongings. There was one crate though that had hundreds of photos of the same girl, as a child to adulthood. Black and white, developed from film. It was always just her and no one else in the photo. I thought it was strange that the old owners could just leave photos of this girl behind. The more I looked at them, I noticed she didn't seem happy in a lot of them. I got really uncomfortable and so my friend and I left and abandoned the photo shoot. I think she might have been a victim of something and that's why the photos were left behind in a half-destroyed house. Got really freaked out that night. Got stuck in my car in a freezing step during a really bad snowstorm at -45 degrees Celsius. The snow was real deep and my car was stuck so badly it would take a truck to pull it out. Cell phone didn't work, maps didn't work. For those who don't know, once the engine dies you have about 12 hours before you freeze to death. The worst thing is that the snow was so deep and the storm was so bad they probably wouldn't have found me until spring. I have been in a bunch of life-threatening situations in my lifetime, but fuck, nothing is as scary as freezing to death in the middle of nowhere. Thankfully, another guy saw me. He happened to be driving a real pumped-up Land Cruiser, all geared up and shit. He gave me a real confused look once he realized I was driving a Jaguar XE, probably the last fucking car you want to drive there. It would have been okay if I stayed on the road, I guess, but I couldn't see because of the storm and wandered about 50 meters off-road. He pulled me out and led me for 2 hours at 40 kilometers an hour, given he could easily do 120 thanks to his car. We were on our way to Flagstaff, AZ for the Overland Expo and planned to camp near there the night before it started since we were on a longer overland trip. It was this place in the woods that was recommended by others who were there before. It all seemed fine and we set up camp. At night when we brushed our teeth we noticed there were animal skulls hanging in the trees all around us. It was super scary. We packed up and spent the night in a hotel.